Hello and welcome to our number talk. Today we are looking at the expression 32 times 7. What we do in a number talk is we use mental math, that means no paper, no pencil, to try to solve this expression, and then we keep track of the strategy that we use. So before we go any further, go ahead and pause the video to solve this expression without paper, without pencil, and when you're done, let's unpause it. We'll look at all the different strategies that we can use. Alright, so let's get started with the distributive property. And I want to take my 32 times 7. The distributive property lets me break apart one of my factors, just so I can use some smaller numbers here, and I can get into some partial products. So I'm going to take my 5 and 2, and that's going to be a little bit easier for me to multiply than that 7. So 7 is just 5 plus 2, but I'm going to take this 32. I'm still going to multiply it by both of these add-ins. That's going to give me my partial products. So 32 times 5 is a little bit easier. That's going to get me 160 because 30 times 5 is 150 and 2 times 5 is 10. And then I'm going to take my 2 here and I am going to multiply that by 32. And that's just going to be a doubling. 32 times 2, that's going to be 64. And so that is going to give me my answer of 224. That's a big one. Hopefully that's what you got when you did this mentally. Let's look at a different way that we can choose. Most of us probably did this. And this is a great use of the distributive property as well. We're going to take our 32 and we're going to break it up into place value. Think of it like expanded form. 30 plus 2, and we're going to distribute or multiply that 7 into both of those add-ins to get our partial product. So 30 times 7, that's 210. Now we've got our 2 times 7, that's easy, that's 14. So that's going to get us, once again, our 224. Now there's another way that we can solve this, and we already did 7 as a 5 and 2, but what if we took apart our 7 into 3 different add-ins? There's no rule that says you only can do 2 different add-ins. So I'm going to take my 32 and multiply it by 3 plus 3 plus 1. Now I want to do 3's simply because I'm multiplying it by this 32. And I'm going to be able to do that mentally pretty easily. So I'm going to take my 32 and multiply that by 3, and that's going to give me 96. I'm going to take my next 32, multiply that by 3 again, give me another 96. So that is going to give me a running total of 192. And then I've got 132 left. And I'm just going to multiply that by 1 because I've just got that right there. I'm still going to get my same answer of 224. That's just a different way to use the distributive property. Finally, let's look at the associative property. So what we have here is we've got 32 times 7. 7 is a prime number, so we can't break that down in any different ways, but we can take our 32 and we can say, you know what, it's 4 times 8. It's one of the ways. There's many different ways to break down 32. But what this does, this associative property is also sometimes called the grouping property. Once you have 3 or more factors, if you use this with addition, you need 3 or more add-ins, you can simply change the groups. Right now, I've got 4 and 8 grouped together because that's what makes 32. But what if I keep all of my factors the same and just group 8 groups of 7? Because I know 8 and 7, that makes 56. I'd rather skip count by 56s. So that's what I have. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So here are my 8 groups of 7. So there we go. I've got 56. Now, I've got 4 groups of 8 groups of 7. And that's what these 4 rows are for. So if I want to skip count by 56, well, that's going to be 112. It's going to be 168, and I still end up with my 2, 2, 4 as always. So those are just a few of the ways that you can use mental math to solve 32 times 7. If you found another way, that's great. Go ahead and drop that as a comment on the video. Teachers, if you would like a copy of this slide deck for your own educational use, you can grab it off my website at 5minutemath.net.